Hi, I'm Johnny.
And I'm Des.
And this is the channel where we talk about being golden queers, i.e. queer people over 50 who are living in the cis hetero patriarchy of the United States.
Well, we had planned to talk about a completely different topic for our very first vlog on this channel. The reality is that our lives, like most of yours, have been taken over by the COVID-19 virus.
So we want to take some time to talk about what that looks like for us.
So please be aware, neither of us has any medical experience. We have no say in policy. We are not experts on anything. We know that information is changing hourly, if not minute by minute. So please find and follow reputable authorities and resources to keep up on the spread of the virus and what it's going to mean for you.
We're here to talk about our experience as of the time of this recording, which is March 15th, 2020.
So the first thing we wanted to have a little conversation about is what are our personal risk levels in this crisis.
I have an autoimmune disease, I have arthritis, and I'm heading into being 60 years old in about a year and a quarter.
Now, I'm still in the lower 50s, which more recently they've started to say we at least have more risk of developing serious than, it's almost like 50 is now the magic age instead of 60.
Yeah.
It's still really low in your 50s and it jumps when you hit 60. But I have to be concerned, and I have to be concerned not just that, but because anything I do comes right back to Johnny. I have a sister who has a primary immune deficiency as well as a host of other things. She has so many medical things that I'm actually one of her primary caregivers. I also have my mom who lives with my sister who is over 70 and has health issues. So they are both at extreme risk, and I am in daily contact with them, which means I have to act as if I'm in extreme risk. But I also have to go out in the world to do things for them and for myself and for Johnny.
And so these are some of our concerns. I also have some family members that I love dearly who are over the age of 50 and who have compromised immune systems. And I have also, we also have friends that are at risk.
We actually have our first friend who has actually had to be tested and isolated. We have a number of friends who work in the healthcare industry all over the United States.
These are some of our concerns, and some of the industries that I know and love are going to have a hard time pulling out of this.
Not only are we concerned about the health of the people around us, but for the last month I've been growing increasingly concerned about what's going to happen. If somebody gets sick, what then happens? Do I have to go to one house and avoid the other house? Do I have to go into isolation? What happens if I get sick and then all these other people who rely on me can't rely on me anymore? What happens if I get sick and can't work, or my sister gets sick and I can't work for her, so we have no income? There are a lot of concerns beyond who gets sick.
So that's kind of how our daily life is impacted is at this point, I'm really super close to self-isolating. It was really cool today. I got to go to church online. So I went to the meeting room that our pastor, our reverend set up, and got to sit in on church services and hear the message of today, because pastors and people who lead congregations of faith and followings are taking this responsibility seriously, but also finding a way to use technology to keep the communities connected, which I think is fantastic.
I belong to a Facebook group for my college graduation alumni year, and earlier this week they had an online quarantine happy hour where like 20 of them got online from all over the country at the same time and just had fun.
That's really cool.
And they're trying to plan regular things like that. They're talking about starting a book club. Another way that the life has been impacted for me, because I am over there with my sister every day, is that when people started panicking 2 weeks ago and buying up all the hand sanitizer and buying up all the face masks, my sister on a good day requires her caregivers to use hand sanitizer. On a bad day, she requires them to wear face masks around her in case they have even the slightest cold that they could pass on to her.
And gloves.
And wear gloves when they're touching her.
What I want to say is, what does this remind us of?
Right, because as queer people in our specific age group, we've been through this before. The rest of the country hasn't so much.
I found out about HIV/AIDS in 1983 because I was donating plasma cells for money because I was a poor college student and I liked to party. So I was doing that, and they came up with this new list of things, of criteria that we had to pass: night sweats, vomiting, all these different things. And I was like, what? I'm a college student, so I go over to my library and I start reading and researching, and finally got to the article that led to the article that talked about the first case in the late 1970s, and then the first few cases that popped up in San Francisco. And from 1983 to 1987, we lost thousands of people to HIV/AIDS because the Reagan era would not support.
Wouldn't acknowledge it existed.
They wouldn't acknowledge that the virus existed and that it was a systemic problem in our population.
And that they didn't do anything about it.
Because it was those old queer guys over there that were dying off.
And to some degree, there's been that for the last 2 months, that the administration knew that there could be a problem and they pretended it didn't. And to this day, March 15th, there are people out there who are sure that this isn't a problem and that we're all being hysterical. And
it's a conspiracy.
But I'm with the people that we need to flatten the curve and we need to take care of the community, not just what's in the safest for us. What's safe for me, I could still do almost anything I wanted if all I was concerned about was my health.
Yeah.
But I'm concerned about the health of the people around me immediately, and then the entire community.
I'm doing what I'm doing, and this sounds really contrite, but I'm hoping for the best, that 3 months, 6 months down the road, we start recovering from this, and hope that during the next winter it doesn't come back on us as hard. That we're more prepared.
That we can be more prepared.
That we're more prepared.
But really, as queer people, we lost a whole generation, and we have we lost mostly gay men, but all the lesbians at that time were the ones taking care of the gay men. Now they're all in their 60s and 70s, and they're going to have to take care of each other again. And statistically, queers are more housing unstable, they're more food unstable, they're less likely to be insured, whatever age they are. We aren't prepared because a lot of us spend our time taking care of other people instead of planning for our own selves. And
which is something we need to start doing.
They told us in February to start preparing for this, and most people didn't. Or they ran out and bought
toilet paper.
No, they didn't buy toilet paper first. They bought gloves and masks that they didn't even need.
Yeah.
They don't even need gloves and masks. Maybe they could argue that they need toilet paper.
Yes.
We went out and very slowly bought our regular groceries plus a few extra, so that we could build up an actual supply in case we need to be home for a month.
Yeah.
But we did it slowly. We didn't rush out on Thursday with everybody else.
We didn't go panic buying. We've been buying slowly over the last month and a half to 2 months, and with what we have in the house, I can feed us for a while. So we've been doing the minimal amount of preparing because we have this much room in our house.
As older queers, we don't have a lot of extra income.
Yeah.
We have debt that we have to deal with. We have limited space for stockpiling,
for storage.
Things.
Yeah.
We don't have the money to buy the extra stuff most of the time. We just happen to have the fact that in December and January, Johnny actually did some more work than he's been able to for months. And so we had some extra income that we could actually put to this. If that hadn't happened and we were just making what we usually make, we couldn't have done this. We have the privilege of being able to get some food for us because he is going to self-isolate, and I'm just literally going to be going to work, which is my family.
To the stores.
To the stores, because it's not safe anymore for him to go to the stores. And
shopping for both families.
For both families. To the stores, or to pick up medications, or on rare things, if my sister needs to go for a serious medical thing, then I'm one of the people who goes with her. So yeah. It's a tough time right now. And I think that we will get through it okay. There are minimal cases in our state and none in our immediate area. Yeah. So far, none confirmed. My point is, we personally know people in most of the major cities of the U.S. who are in some way at high risk for this disease, and I don't know that they're all going to make it through.
I know what it is.
Okay.
It's a feeling of helplessness, because when you know there's nothing you can do, if somebody gets the virus who's in the at-risk range, you get that virus, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing Des can do. We again, it reminds me, I go back to, we just watch it unfold.
And that's what we're having to do.
Watching it unfold and, praying for the best. Oh, I say praying, I don't know, meditating. Hoping.
There's a limit to what we can do, and we have to think beyond ourselves. And that's basically where our heads have been for the last month, is what do we have to do beyond just what's best for Des, beyond what's best for Johnny, but what's best for our family. I don't want to make it worse for other people.
Yeah. Which is the responsible thing to do. And I know the video circulated and it went viral, but I have a friend who's in Italy, and she reported the night it was happening. She talked about all the people coming out. She's in Perugia, and all the people coming out onto the balconies and playing the music and singing songs to each other, because they can't gather and be close. They can't go to the pubs and play, or the cafes. So they were out on their balconies doing this. But I heard about it like 24 hours before it hit the internet.
Because your friend was there.
Because my friend's over there. And now she's in Italy and can't fly home yet. Now let's get through it with lots of love.
And we need to have compassion for ourselves too. Because being triggered by what this reminds us of, being triggered by what we stand to lose in our community, even if we feel safe or relatively safe ourselves and are doing everything we can for ourselves, there are so many people we love who we can't help just because of distance. It's tough, and we're not the only ones going through this. Like I said, one of our friends, they suspect she has the disease. She has to wait a week to get her results. She's isolated, which literally means she is living in one bedroom in her house and her wife is living downstairs. And they talk through the door. And the wife leaves food outside the door for her because the wife has significant illnesses too and cannot be exposed. It reminds us of a lot. It's impacting everyone's daily lives significantly, and we just have to have compassion for each other, have compassion for ourselves, and think in as big a circle as you're able, what you do impacts the people around you. And I guess my only hope is that enough people are doing that we can flatten that curve and keep so many people from dying here and from spreading further globally, and that when this is all over and we're on the other side, we remember to continue thinking about people beyond ourselves. We plan to post 1 to 2 videos a week on this channel. They're going to be vlogs with us talking about what's going on in our daily life. So please make sure you subscribe below and hit the bell if you want to be notified when those new videos are released.
In the meantime, comment below on how the coronavirus is affecting your life and what your concerns are.